Alright, so in my last video, I went off on a tangent and rambled too far, but I went off into thinking of stigma depression in regards to like social media. And I just want to touch on it a bit because, especially a lot of the younger generations, they're growing up with a phone in their face at like 2 years old, 3 years old, social media at a very young age. And like, I didn't grow up with that. I didn't have my first smartphone until I was like 21. I had a flip phone before that for a little while. Like I was well past teenhood before those devices even became like a thing. Um, I was, I was on a PC at a very young age, but social media didn't really exist. YouTube didn't really exist. There was like a half decade to a decade before that stuff started popping up. So, you know, society and social media nowadays is just instant gratification and low attention span flicking, like TikTok, shorts, reels, everything's going short form, right? And I do believe the science that's saying that it's reducing people's attention spans. It's making them want everything instant gratification. Like there's a lot of younger people that can't hold a job. They can't fathom working 8 hours. Like I work 50-hour work week. In the oil field, I worked 80 hours. I've worked straight in, from morning to the next day into the morning, 25 hours straight. I've done it. And this stuff's unfathomable to a younger gen. They wouldn't be able to do it. They don't have the mentality or the physicality for it. The work ethic just isn't there. Not all. I've met some teens with some great work ethics. So there's some outliers. But generally speaking, it's rough. And social media has a lot to do with it. And, active depression. I want to call it stigma depression because, and this is a use case for people to drink and use drugs, right? Like you're being, and it affected me when I was younger, when Instagram and, Facebook first came about and YouTube really wasn't so bad, and now you have like OnlyFans, influencers everywhere, everyone chasing clout, everyone chasing the next trend. Like, you'll see a meme or trend go viral and everyone's copying it. No one's original anymore. It's just straight. Just people chasing clout, doing ridiculous things for clout. And I hate this era. I hate this time frame. I really do. I don't like it. I feel like it's so bad for humanity in general. And I feel like people are losing intelligence quotient. I feel like people are going backwards. They're like devolving. They're getting more and more stupid. They're not thinking rationally. And I think it is due to social media and like really irrational biases. But we're not going to get too deep into that. But the depression and people using drugs and alcohol or self-harm or whatever, it's a lot to do with social media. You see these Instagram models that are not actual models. They have clout from their whole fan base is like simps, like incels, like people that cannot get a girlfriend, people that have no lust for life. Like they can't play instruments. They're not funny. They're overweight. They're bland. I'm sorry to say it. Like people sitting on their computers watching other people all day, they're not living their own life. Take that for how you want to take it. That's how I've always felt. Ever since I've streamed on Twitch, I couldn't fathom people I'm not going to watch someone else play a game all day. And there's people that do that all day. They just talk about streamers, like play the game yourself, right? Or they watch a girl that has no recognition of them, takes their money, says, oh, thank you so-and-so for the donation, does not care about them, but in the person's head, they feel like they have a chance or they can meet this person or they have some made-up reality where, they have a connection with this person. And in reality, these girls or these influencers don't really care, right? Like, let's be honest. Like OnlyFans, it's ridiculous how many people have OnlyFans now, and some of them make a lot of money. But that it's not. I'm not blaming them. I'm blaming the people paying. Like, I can't believe males out there pay for this stuff. I've never once spent a dime on a cam girl, OnlyFans, a subscription to a streamer. I mean, it is what it is. That's not me. I don't vibe with it, and I think it's pathetic. That might offend some people. I don't really care. I can't stand modern society. And then on TikTok, any trend that pops off, you see millions of people copying it. And you know what? I'm a little envious because all I have to do is go on TikTok and find the trend of the week, copy it, use the background music, use the idea, and I'd probably blow up on these platforms. But I don't feel like that's authentic and genuine. Should I have done it? Or clickbait? I don't feel like that's authentic and genuine. You know, I could have done all these things. And you know what? In hindsight, I should have, because I'm not dogging on the people that do it because it works. But it's like, it's so unoriginal. It's such an unoriginal era where everyone just copies their acts, their ideas. It's crazy to me how everyone just does the same thing that trends. If you make a skit and it goes viral and trends, you're going to have 5 million people copying that skit and doing the same exact thing. And to me, it's just the creativity conundrum is just, it's absurdity, depressing. And these people, I was never a fan of the whole lip syncing, which was like TikTok's big thing. And what was it called before that? It was the app before. It wasn't Vines. It was a one where you just lip sync songs and movie phrases and stuff like that. I can't stand the whole like zoom in the eyes and moving the eyes all weird, like the Bella Porsche type thing. Like everyone copying her. Like every girl on earth is trying to like zoom in on her face and just lip sync. It's talentless, hacky, and it's like, man, all these people that are making revenue off of this pre 2005, they would be so lost in life. I'm not saying they wouldn't make it because people adjust to the times, right? But that gravy train didn't exist, and a lot of people would have had a hard time. Pre-online and social media. I'm not trying to hate. I can't stand it. And then more onto the topic of, I ran it off there, but those are just my opinions, and they're not going to change. You want to comment and argue, I mean, whatever. I don't really care what anyone has. Like, I'll debate and stuff, but internet's internet, man. A keyboard's a keyboard. People say stuff all the time. But, yeah, kids are exposed at a very young age, and they see these luxurious lives on Instagram, whatever, Facebook, TikTok, and they think, why isn't my life like that? The thing they're not realizing, that's less than 1% of the population, right? I think it's 1% of the population has 99% of the world's wealth. And I'm pretty sure like 4 out of 5 Americans don't even have more than $500 saved in their bank. So it's quite common to not have a lot of money, okay? But social media makes people think that it's a large sect of society. Like, oh my gosh, right over there, everyone has this kind of money and I don't have it. I'm pathetic. And there's substance abuse, alcoholism. People dole out because they don't feel good enough, right? But in reality, you're part of the 99%, baby. Like, you have to realize that. When I see someone with absorbent amounts of whatever it is, like I watch Alpha Investments, the guy, I will never have what that guy has. I know I won't. I mean, I know it's not good to say that. I would love, maybe one day. But his warehouse is filled with like vintage product that I could only dream of. The guy flips through cards that I would dream of having. And he's just, that's where he is in life. And he's that advanced and he's that much of a businessman that he has stuff I'll never have. And I used to get mad about that kind of stuff. Like, oh my gosh, why does he deserve? But in reality, you have to switch your mindset from being envious and always wanting that to like acquire what you admire, right? A Wes Watson quote. I want what he has. I know some people are on a whole other galaxy. Unless you're Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or a Middle Eastern oil tycoon, where they can't track your finances, then you're not ever going to outdo anyone else. Unless you're a multi-billionaire, almost a trillionaire, you're never going to be the top dog. So you could have $50 million. You're still not the richest man, you know? There's always someone better than you in every sector of life. Physically, I'm in better shape than many people, but there's a sect of people that crush me physically. Mentally, same thing. There's always going to be someone small. Unless you have the highest IQ and you've been through the test, it's always going to be someone with a higher IQ than you. Einstein, Elon Musk, all these guys. Unless you're them, or unless you're like an Olympic athlete, gold medalist that is placed first, can't really say you're the best at anything, you know, because you're not ever going to be, and it's very, very hard to ever be that. And you have to realize that. But you have to wring your brain and realize that social media, people that have these things, it's not common. But these younger gens, it is. They think it is to them. They think they deserve it, or they feel like, why don't I have that? Well, you have to be born with very wealthy parents, get lucky, or you have to grind your ever living butt off, right? And you have to apply application to your life, not just talk about it, apply it. And I may never be a millionaire. I don't care. I've came from having nothing, and I'm fine with being there. I'm very content with what I have now too. But I may not have a mansion and a Supra and a Ferrari and a Lambo. I also watch Wes Watson, and I love his teachings and the way he talks. He also flaunts his luxurious life. And you never say never that you'll never have it, because if you grind hard enough, you never know. There's a lot of outlets, through social media. There's a lot of benefits to the internet as well. As dark and depressing as it can be, it is a very bright and very knowledgeable source as well, right? But yeah, the amount of talentless, low IQ people making it because of their looks, more power to them. If I was a very attractive woman, I probably would be the same thing. So it's like a catch-22 for me. Like I can admire what they're doing, but I feel like it's just such a hack. It's very talentless. Like a girl can sit there and play a game and be completely terrible at it and still outgrow me 50-1 on Twitch, and it does suck. And I already know I can't compete. And there's some very, 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 very stupid people that have just no talent in life that make it off looks. And it is what it is. It's the society we live in. And I don't, it's not going to change. And it's the white knight incels that fund them. It is what it is. But yeah, it's causing younger generations to be severely depressed. And it's just all they see online. Especially if they can't get a girlfriend, if they don't have money, trust fund. Some people are handed it on a silver platter. They feel less than thereof, right? And the work ethic, they're not going to understand, like, grinding out of it. Like, immigrants, have come here all the time in the past century, and they make it. They make a life for themselves, and they grind and grind, and it's just not something these younger gens can fathom, right? They can't comprehend it. I know many people in their 20s that don't work. I know people that have only worked a few months and 10 years, and it's crazy to me. It's mind-blowing to me that people are like that. And every hour I put in, I'm going to get another step ahead of the person. I may never be a multimillionaire, but I'm fine with that. And that's the advantage I have in life. I'm pretty happy with it, And to be honest, if I was rich, would I buy luxurious stuff? Probably. But thinking of it right now, I really wouldn't care. Like, a Lambo to me is just an object. Would I like to have one? Sure. Supra? Sure. Mansion? Sure. But in reality, I don't care. about that. I always thought having a mansion would be way too much of a chore, and property taxes, the land tax, and then hiring people to clean it and maintain it. To me, that's just ridiculous, in my opinion. I really think I'd be a very frugal rich man if I ever get there. You know what I mean? And there are people like that. I know people that are super rich locally that drive beaters around and live to their amenities to the T. Some people are just like that. It all depends on your upbringing. Trust fund babies, they spend, and want, right? But when you come from nothing, your ideologies are much different, and it builds your character different. I wouldn't change it for the world. Sure, if I would have grew up with a trust fund, yeah, heck, man, I would have loved it. Would have spent the money like every other Joe that had mommy and daddy feed him a spoonful of money. But coming up how I did, I wouldn't want that. Like, people that don't have to grind, they don't have the character build that people that go through some shit go through. And it builds character that these people will never know. It builds work ethic that these people that are handed everything will never know. Sorry if you take offense to that, if you get handed everything, but it's the simple truth. I know many people that are trust fund babies, even locally, and they're disasters, man. They're disasters. That's not to say rich parents. There's some rich parents that put their kids through the ringer too, make them work for it. You know what I mean? And that's a good thing to do, because when you're just handing everything to a baby, they become a grown baby. They never become an adult. And yeah. Anyway, end of rant. Social media is a cancer, and the young gens are feeling it the most. And it's really scary to think when I'm in my 60s and 70s, Gen Zs and whatnot are going to be running the country. And I feel like it's going to get bad. It's going to get, because, you know what? I mean, people can say, oh, yeah, well, 5 generations before thought the same of each generation after it. That's true. But this social media is really hindering a whole generation. That generation's going to hit, the government, states. They're going to come into the workforce eventually. People need to work. And you're going to see the social media. I really believe it. It's not the typical, oh, that generation's worse than us. Each generation, because, yeah, generation in the 1930s and 40s with World War II, Holocaust, and all that stuff, they seen some. That's the gen that had the rights to say it. But anyways, social media is going to be that pivotal point with this generation, and I think it's going to be catastrophic. We'll see. Yeah, that's about it.